You're having a great conversation. The vibe is good. The connection feels real. And then, maybe out of genuine curiosity, or just to keep things flowing, you ask him a simple question. And just like that, you watch him shut down. His smile fades. His body language tightens up. He gives you a short, vague, or even defensive answer that leaves you confused, thinking, what did I just say wrong? What if I told you there is one specific question, completely innocent on the surface, that works like a truth serum? It's not about his ex, it's not about his salary, but it reveals more about his core character, his hidden past, and his true potential as a partner than any other question you could ask. In this video, we are exposing that exact question. We're going to break down why it holds so much power and exactly what his reaction tells you about your future together. Stay with me, because what you learn next could save you from months or even years of misunderstanding and heartache. Now, your mind is probably racing, trying to guess what this magical, terrifying question could be. You're likely thinking of the usual suspects. You're wondering if it's, do you love me? Or the classic, what are we? Maybe you're assuming it's something more pointed about his past, like, how many people have you been with? Or, what happened with your ex? And I'll admit, those questions are difficult. They can cause tension and anxiety. But here's the crucial distinction. Those questions are direct. They are asking for a specific piece of information. When you ask a man, what are we? He knows exactly what you're asking for. He knows the stakes. He can prepare a response, even if it's a difficult one. The power of this question, the one we're talking about today, is something entirely different. It doesn't ask for a specific answer. Instead, it forces a revelation he isn't consciously trying to give. It bypasses his prepared scripts and taps directly into his subconscious, revealing his deepest insecurities and his core character without him even realizing it. This is what makes it so uniquely powerful and, in a way, dangerous. On the surface, it seems completely innocent. It sounds like you're just making conversation, showing interest in his life. It doesn't seem confrontational or intrusive. But underneath that harmless surface, this question is a master key. It doesn't just unlock one door. It swings open three major pillars of a man's inner world all at once. It directly challenges and exposes the state of his ego, the depth of his resilience, and his capacity for genuine self-awareness. His answer, or his refusal to answer, paints a perfect picture of how he handles adversity, takes responsibility, and ultimately, how he will show up in a relationship when things get tough, which they always do. So, you've asked the question, can you tell me about a time you failed? Now remember, the specific story he tells is almost secondary. The real gold, the true revelation, lies entirely in how he answers. His reaction is the answer. Over time, I've found that the responses almost always fall into one of three distinct archetypes, and understanding these will give you a clear lens through which to view his character. The first, and perhaps most common, archetype is the blamer. When you ask him about a failure, he immediately launches into a story where he is the undeniable hero, or at the very least, the innocent victim of circumstances completely beyond his control. The project failed because his teammates were incompetent. He lost his job because his boss had it out for him. A business venture collapsed because of a bad economy or an untrustworthy partner. Notice a pattern. The responsibility always lies elsewhere. There is no I in his accountability. This reveals a profound lack of self-awareness and a deeply ingrained victim mentality. This man has not learned from his experiences because he refuses to see his own role in them. He is stuck in a cycle of blaming external forces, which means in a relationship, when you two face inevitable challenges, you can expect the same pattern. The argument will never be his fault. The problem will always be your tone, your timing, your expectations. This pattern reveals a fundamental immaturity that makes a genuine, collaborative partnership nearly impossible. Then we have the second archetype, the avoider. This man's response is not a story, but a deflection. The moment the question is posed, you'll see a visible shift. He might get uncomfortable, look away, or let out a nervous laugh. His verbal response will be a masterclass in non-answers. He might say, "I don't know, I don't really dwell on failures," or "I prefer to live in the present," or he'll quickly make a joke and change the subject. It feels like you're trying to grasp smoke. This behavior reveals a deeply fragile ego. For him, the very concept of failure is so threatening, so tied to his sense of self-worth, that to even acknowledge it feels like a personal annihilation. He is protecting a hidden well of shame or a deep-seated fear of being seen as inadequate. While it may seem less aggressive than the blamer, this archetype is just as revealing. His inability to be vulnerable about a past struggle signals a profound emotional unavailability. If he can't be honest about a failure from his past, how can you ever expect him to be open and vulnerable with you about the real, messy feelings that arise in the present? You will find yourself in a relationship with a wall, constantly guessing what's going on behind it. Finally, we have the third archetype, and this is the one you're looking for, the learner. When you ask this man about failure, he will actually pause and think. He might take a breath, and then he will tell you a specific story. It won't be a vague, sweeping statement. He'll say, "A few years back, I launched a project that completely missed the mark, and here's what happened." The most critical part of his story is the language he uses. He will openly acknowledge his own role in the outcome. You'll hear him say things like, "Where I went wrong was," or "My mistake was in assuming that." He owns his part in the failure without crumbling from the weight of it. And then, the most beautiful part, he will articulate what he learned from the experience. He'll explain how that failure taught him to communicate better, to plan more thoroughly, or to listen more carefully. This response is a powerful demonstration of resilience. It shows a man who understands that his worth is not defined by his failures, but by his capacity to learn and grow from them. It reveals a bedrock of humility and a robust, growth-oriented mindset. This is the man who, when faced with a relationship problem, will be able to look at his own behavior, acknowledge his mistakes, and actively work with you to find a solution. He isn't perfect, but he is secure and self-aware enough to engage in the ongoing work that a healthy, lasting partnership requires. This reveals a true integrity and a capacity for growth that forms the foundation of a secure future. Now, before you decide to use this question, it is absolutely vital to understand that this is a tool for insight, not a weapon for interrogation. This isn't something you weaponize on a first date or spring on him aggressively out of the blue. If you approach it like a test, he will feel it, and his defensive walls will go up immediately, which will invalidate the entire purpose. The goal is not to catch him off guard in a negative way, but to create a moment of genuine connection where a true revelation can naturally occur. So what is the right way? The context is everything. This question should be introduced as a natural part of a deeper, more meaningful conversation. You might be talking about your life goals, your biggest challenges, or what you've learned over the years. It's in that spirit of mutual sharing that you can gently guide the conversation. A powerful way to frame it is to lead with your own vulnerability. You can say something like, "I was thinking the other day about a time I really felt I failed when I didn't get a promotion I worked hard for. It was tough, but it taught me so much about perseverance. Has there ever been a situation like that for you?" By sharing your own story first, you are creating a safe space. You are signaling that this is a no-judgment zone, that failure is a universal human experience, and that you are willing to be vulnerable, which invites him to do the same. When you do ask, Your work isn't just to listen to his words. You must become an observer of everything else. Pay close attention to his body language. Does he cross his arms? Does he break eye contact and look at the floor? Does his posture change? Listen to the tone of his voice. Does it become defensive, flat, or strained? The nonverbal cues are often even more telling than the story itself. They are a direct window into his emotional and psychological response to the concept of his own fallibility. The combination of his verbal answer and his physical reaction will give you a complete and profoundly clear picture of where he falls on the spectrum of accountability, vulnerability, and emotional maturity. Now, I want to hear from you. This is where our community comes together. Have you ever instinctively asked a version of this question? What did his response reveal in that moment? Did you see the blamer, the avoider, or the learner? Your stories are so powerful and help all of us learn. So please, share your experiences and insights in the comments below. Let's start a conversation. If you found this breakdown valuable and you're ready to understand men on a deeper level, then make sure you are a part of this community. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. We are just getting started. And speaking of what's next, in the following video, we're flipping the script. We're talking about the one simple phrase that can make a man see you as long-term partner material and inspire a genuine desire to commit, and I can promise you it's not what you think. It has nothing to do with pressure or ultimatums, and everything to do with a powerful psychological shift. You won't want to miss it. We'll see you then.